The project was enormously ambitious from the start. You've got 20 young people.
It's been cross-cultural.
But it's an international project.
On total opposite sides of the world.
Entirely coordinated over Zoom.
And how might we achieve that is the task here.
Throughout my life, what I've really liked and enjoyed about visual arts is how they allow you to explore different narratives. And in particular, I think with visual arts, you can explore the narrative of bringing out beauty in the world that you might not be able to notice.
And printmaking being such a traditional art form that has such a rich history.
It has like an innate power to puncture through.
It's not just a fine art form, it's a everyday art form.
As a kind of language that can connect people.
What kind of stories it can possibly tell, and recognizing the multiplicity in it.
People who have different beliefs, who happen to be from different ethnicities, and that makes it a wonderful medium for expressing their ideas, values, and experiences.
It's very important to show these different perspectives, because in a time where like most conversations are radicalized, visual arts tend to reach out to the more reflective and intuitive nature of humans.
It has no language, but it has all language.
And thoughtful curation can help tie all of this together.
Nowadays, that's as important as journalism, as rigorous reporting, because it's another narrative that you're adding to a very complicated world. But art provides another way to interpret it. And while I doubt that one person could say that their entire mindset came from one piece of art, it adds to that mindset and it enriches it in a way that I really love.
Yeah, it's such a universal, lovely way of being able to express thoughts and feelings and issues that are prominent in what we want to talk about.
The best you can do is try to do justice to all kinds of perspectives.
I mean, considering how all sorts of different communication ideas within the visual cultures are also democratic in nature, how might we do that? With what sort of tools?
We began our curatorial process by researching artists as a group.
We wanted to work with printmakers working on paper and with digital media.
We each made recommendations for artists whose work dealt with the exhibition themes, which included sustainability, intercultural dialogue, and in particular, the relationship between India and Scotland.
We posted images of the artist's work on the mirror board, and together, by a process of evaluating how the work may sit together visually, aesthetically, and thematically, we selected a long list of artists.
Our goal was to choose 7 artists.
To our surprise and delight, almost everyone we selected was keen to take part.
We were thrilled to secure commitments to make new works from Claire Barkley, Nishi Chodimela, Anupa Gardner, Shivanala Perumal, Swapna Tamhane, Sushanta Guha, and the existing works from Sonia Mehra Chawla.
It's been such a unique experience.
The kind of people that this fellowship brought together was just incredible.
We were bonding so fast.
The biggest challenge at first was in terms of the curation.
An international exhibition that was curated remotely was quite a challenge.
We were working across continents, in a sense, across different time zones, across organizations that have a very different framework of working, with the need for a very tangible outcome.
I think probably my biggest challenge was the work balance.
Timelining, I suppose.
Last minute changes.
There was the budget to think of.
I thought the shipping process was so challenging.
The timings were clashing, or the ideas were clashing, but we started making an attempt at bridging these communication gaps.
The goal was to be impactful and inclusive.
There was so much to learn.
We had to balance these logistical and organizational requirements of a project like this with our own attempt to show our voice in it.
I do feel like we all really worked together to overcome that. There was a lot of perseverance.
I believe in these people, and I believe in this aim, and I believe in this project, even when it gets difficult.
Yeah, it was all sorts of growing up happening at the same time.
You're learning, you're young, you're here to learn. That's the point. So embrace it, you know?
I loved the way it was structured.
The framework was so thoughtfully made, like a dotted line around our process, which would guide us and help us, but it was also permeable enough for our creative expression and what kind of autonomy we wanted to practice.
It would be a shorter conversation if we listed what I didn't learn.
I had never really curated anything at this level, at this scope.
So it was fantastic to learn during the workshops about curatorial practice,
talking to artists,
collaborate to negotiate with different kinds of people,
project management skills,
critical thinking,
the outreach programming or engagement activities,
ethics of curating,
transport,
social sustainability,
where to push myself.
So I think I've learned very much how to be a very good team worker.
It cannot be done by one person.
There's many working cogs that have to work together.
But we were able to pull it off, which is wonderful.
I learned how to curate an international exhibition remotely.
There were so many discoveries of like shared threads of art and folklore and tradition.
Finding these stories and the possibilities of more stories like these existing is very exciting.
We feel like, across the borders, there's so much conflict, but at the end of the day, we all come from the same place.
There's still a long way to go, and we can keep learning.
Perhaps one day take on the role of a curator.
I'm already working on 2 exhibitions.
So it's definitely opened up professional opportunities.
I think that there is a lot of excitement and potential to say, maybe this isn't the end for this group.
I think it's just a starting point.
We will do projects together in the future.
We have done so many amazing things together.
So thank you.
The entire Future Flow Fellowship was where I was a seed. And the watering and the constant guidance, I was like, come out of that seed and become a little plant.